reviews, discussions, and theories about films in horror, sci-fi, and genre. This is The Horror Deconstruction. Like, share, and subscribe to hear more.
What's up, everybody? It's The Horror Deconstruction. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, most likely on YouTube. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Hit that thumbs up. Let people know that you listen to the show with your host, Komp. And this is another one of the 31 days of October for Halloween. Today's film is Kantan, also known as Jushin Densetsu, 1987. A boy's nightmare about being stalked by a demon slowly transforms into a terrifying reality. Directed by Takuro Fukada, written by Takuro Fukada, starring Kazuhisa Kawahara. So this is another one of those Japanese splattercore films. Shorter film that's about 45 minutes, actually probably longer than most of the ones that we've seen these past few episodes that I've been reviewing. Kantan is like I said, a splatter film that deals mostly with practical effects and gore and violence and stuff like that. And I gotta say, the version that I saw, so this is gonna take a big swipe out of the film itself already, so it's already in a bad league, and it's not the film's fault itself. I saw it in a very bad copy, very poorly preserved copy of the film, lots of grain, so I can't fault the film for that. I mean, this is one of those types of grain where when people watch Blu-ray versions of older films, they want it to look like this, so it has some cool aesthetic, but this did not help the film at all. Not that it was completely unwatchable, but I feel if this was Blu-ray, this is one of the rare instances where if it's an older film, the Blu-ray version would probably make this look incredible, but I am going to deal with the version that I saw. And anyway, this is VHS rip that I saw. Okay, so what this movie is about, it actually has a wraparound of sort of a nightmarish scenario where these creatures are running through these hallways. Is very you don't know what the hell you're looking at. It's indecipherable. It's just like some sort of weird long-running hallway. When you hear about those Reddit stories about liminality, that's what the rooms look like. And it's just, I didn't even know what the movie was about. I didn't look up any information about it, so it sort of reminded me of like Dungeons and Dragons or something. You just see these two warriors chasing this weird creature through the halls, and all in shadow. And I was like, is this a movie that takes place in the medieval age, or is it a fantasy movie or something like that? Which it sort of is. But we meet our protagonist. I don't know his name just by the credits of the film. He's played by, let's see, I assume it is, you know what, doesn't really matter who's playing him. Kazuhisa Kawahara, I guess that's the guy who's playing him. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. He wakes up from this terrible nightmare, which seems like it's an unrelenting monster attacking. He wakes up, Japanese dude, probably early 20s, college-age guy. I guess he might be a little bit older. I can't really tell with this film. His room's full of maquettes and toys and figurines of like Ultraman characters and stuff like that. He's actually building a set that we don't find out until later on in the movie. I don't know if I would spoil this movie. It's a movie that's not even worth really spoiling. It's not a horrible movie, but compared to the other, Splatterfest Japanese films that I've been talking about, like Biotherapy and Gozu, the thing Forsaken by God, and the upcoming, the one tomorrow I'm going to be talking about, which is called Gakidama. Compared to those three, this is not as good as those three. Production-wise, it's totally fine. The monsters look okay. The main monster does not look that good. It kind of looks like a pain in the ass to move around actually in the film. It's kind of annoying. But anyway, we're dealing with this main character. He seems college-age fella. He works on set on production on film, so maybe he builds little sets for the movies, because I think they're working on that type of monster film. But anyway, that's besides the point. He has a girlfriend that he is aloof with. The problem is with him, he gets in trouble with the Japanese mafia. And what they do is they pulled a scam where they slowed their car in front of him while he was driving, so the car would get damaged, and then they would make him pay them back, but then he'd have to get insurance to borrow money from somebody else, but then they pay off those debts, so then he'd have to pay essentially double that. And so he's dealing with them, and the whole film is like cutting back and forth between him and this sort of bizarre nightmare of this creature that's coming, and him waking up, and it's really It's boring. It's kind of boring, this film. And I don't know why that is, because this is kind of my right up my alley, just aesthetics wise, like 80s Japanese horror. It's not a very horrifying movie, you know. When you're just going back and forth and just seeing this guy being miserable because he has to pay off these sort of cartoonish mafia guys, these yakuza dudes. I mean, you could do that in one switch, and this movie could have been half an hour or even 20 minutes, compared to dragging it out to 45 minutes. Because I think what they're trying to do is make you like this main character, and you can like a main character in 10 minutes. Just make him do something nice. He just sort of seems like an empty slate, this character. His girlfriend seems nice. She seems to be putting up with his shit. She breaks his balls a lot. She does slap him in the face. It's just like nowadays people would be like upset about that. He's a boring sort of milquetoast character, and he doesn't sort of register as anything other than towards the finale of the film when the Yakuza guys decide to try to assault the girlfriend and are ready to kick his ass or kill him because he won't pay off. And that's when these nightmares become reality, and he becomes the actual creature, whatever this thing is called. I don't know why it's called Kantan. I don't know what that means compare in the English translation. He's turning into this sort of weird, it looks like the mix of a dragon, and I don't know if it's spoiling because the movie is so short and you sort of picture this as being a monster film in the first place. This creature is sort of like a weird Godzilla slash giant slash from, not slash, Razor from, is it Toka or Razor? I think Toka's a turtle. From the Ninja Turtles Part 2, Secret of the Ooze. And it's not an impressive sort of effect. It looks pretty bad. Not that I can create something like this. It's big hulking like 8-foot creature, but it looks like some out of a parade float. And for all this time that you're waiting for this creature to come out, and you do see glimpses of them in the beginning of the film, this monster, but then towards the end when he does come out, it's just like it seems like everything's so lazy. Like when they kill the Yakuza guys, the gore is sort of corny. There's a guy who gets his head ripped off, and it looks so shitty. And I don't understand, because obviously they took time to create this creature. Even the part where he's actually mutating into the monster, I think they're trying to make sort of a equivalency to a Werewolf in London. I believe this might have come out after that. But it's just like so like crappily made, and it's just so boring looking. And I'll give them effort that it looks disgusting, but I think that they were trying to make this some sort of epic transformation, and it just looks boring and cheap. And the reaction of the Yakuza guys is so unbelievably phony. Like, if you saw a regular guy turning into a gigantic creature, you would be so stunned to just sit there or stand there and look at this guy mutating. I would have gotten the fuck out of Dodge. I would have ran out of there. Like, what's the point of that? So he decapitates one guy and his head, and this looks really bad. You can tell he's like behind a wall, and then they put the fake neck there, obviously because they couldn't really kill an actor. One effect that's fine is when he slashes down and this guy's face falls apart. Crushing on people, very misty sprayed blood kind of gore. Like Gozu is, or not Gozu, whatever the hell other movie I was talking about. Like that Guzu is the one that has the like great gore effect when one of the girls gets destroyed in that film. The gore is fantastic, and here it's just really poorly done. And even if it was Blu-ray, that sequence couldn't be repaired. And I don't really know what the story sort of means at the end, because his girlfriend, who he's trying to, he saves by killing those guys, by dismembering those Yakuza guys, she obviously sees he's a monster, and then she shoots him with her pistol, and it kills him instantly. Like, he looks like an unstoppable monster, but you can just shoot him with a bullet, and he's dead. And then it cuts to, like, the diorama that he had been working on. You don't see it till, like, halfway through the film. Like, she is inside the diorama as this sort of avenging warrior, a warrior that we see throughout that dream sequence. And then his monster creature character is also, felled in this diorama image. And I don't know whether he had predicted that this was going to happen, or it really seems like a very strange way for this movie to go out. I think that they felt like they were doing something interesting with the finale, that he was fated to die like as these figurines that he's placed together, but it really isn't like worthwhile. I mean, as a curiosity for watching Japanese splattercore films, then fine. You could do worse, I would assume, just in watching just general movies. But this really isn't the best out of the ones that I've seen. It's certainly not even close to being something that's great. It just seems like who cares? It seems like even more bottom of the barrel than the other ones. At least Guzu and Biotherapy had a coherent plot that where you felt something was happening and it was leading up to something. This felt like it was just repetition until this massive like gore effect at the end, but it's not even that impressive. It just seems very boring, and it wasn't for me. So I mean, I saw it. I don't feel like awful that I saw it. It just seems like a who cares type of Japanese splatterfest movie, and that's very strange to do. And like very hardly you can fuck up a Japanese splattercore movie. Not saying this is completely fucked up, but it just seems unnecessary and very trite and boring, and who gives a shit. So I would give this movie a 5 out of 10. Getting offed as a superhuman creature by your girlfriend with a couple of bullets, and then she turns into a noble warrior that watches on as we pull back from a diorama. And with that, this has been the Hard Deconstruction. Thank you for listening.